As grim as it may sound, it would be very easy to make this type of thing go away if everyone was on board. You can imagine a platoon in a place like Mosul. If someone wanted to kill someone who didn't necessarily fall into the legal parameters, that could happen and no one would say anything if everyone was okay with it. But what struck me is that there was a schism in this platoon where clearly there were people who were not okay with what was going on and thought their chief had gone over the line. So when I saw his arrest, I really wanted to see what was going on behind the scenes. And I was lucky enough to get a really rare look at these confidential documents, about 500 pages of Navy criminal investigation that interviewed these SEALs, that included hundreds of text messages from the chief's seized phone. And they really gave us almost unprecedented look at how these things unfolded. And as you mentioned at the top, there was a lot of details in there of killing, of indiscriminate shooting. But what also struck me over and over again is you have one SEAL who is accused of doing things that went beyond the law and murdering people. But then you have 7 SEALs at least who stood up and said, this is wrong, our superior is doing something wrong, and they did what they are supposed to do. They, according to the documents and what they told investigators, they went to their chain of command and tried for months to get an investigation started. And they were told, I think, I don't know what the motivation behind it was, but they were told, look, decompress, don't worry about this. This could ruin your career. You might want to think about this. This could take down other people. And, you know, they were really frustrated that even though they saw something abhorrent, their chain of command seemed unwilling to act.
Describe what he is on trial for. For example, the knifing to death of this 15-year-old teenager.
What his platoon members told investigators is that the chief kind of went off the rails when he got to Mosul, Iraq. They were supposed to be in an advise and assist role supporting Iraqi special forces. And they were supposed to do some oversight with drones and snipers. His job was to be the tactical lead, the person who sits in the back and comes up with the plans. But instead, he spent much of his time in a hidden sniper hide where other snipers said he shot, depending on who you asked, 3 times as much or 20 times as much as other snipers. And as you mentioned at the top, he bragged about how many people he killed. Now, a lot of that may have just been boasting. We don't know how many of those shots actually hit anyone, but there are specifics where other snipers say they witnessed him killing what they saw as people who were clearly civilians. There was one case where a group of girls were walking along the river that runs through the center of the city, and one of the girls wearing a flowered hijab was shot down, and they watched her collapse, and her friends drag her away. In another case, a couple of old men in wispy white beards were along the river as well, and one of them was shot in the back. And the snipers say that in both these cases, it was Eddie Gallagher who took those shots.